On Club Rugby with live English commentary with myself, Kenneth Davis, at the Liberty Stadium, with the Ospreys desperate to hit back after a disappointing showing on the opening weekend, going down against Ulster in the Kingspan Stadium. So a lot riding on this game early on in the season, as Munster, who themselves were unconvincing. A narrow win last week at home against Treviso, but they are, of course, depleted because of international call-ups with the World Cup only a week away. The last time these two sides met was in the semi-final of the Pro 12 last year. The Ospreys just missing out, despite a last-minute try that was ruled out by Nigel Owens at Thomond Park. Munster going on, but failing to topple Glasgow in the end. And we see the number 6 jersey there. It'll be an emotional occasion for the Ospreys as they pay tribute to the late, great Jerry Collins, who sadly passed away in tragic circumstances over the summer. Lloyd Ashley, as he's now called, formerly Lloyd Piers, leads the Ospreys side, who will be trying to make amends. I'm glad to say, joining me in the commentary position, former Ospreys and Wales second row Ian Goff, and as we see the number 6 jersey that is going to be retired for today, Ian, as someone you knew him well, desperately, there'll be a lot of mixed emotions here today.
Yeah, the boys are going to be gulping as they walk past that jersey. I remember when I heard the news, and it was horrendous. I think I was out in Bermuda at the time playing, and you know, everybody just sank. You know, he was a character of the game, and you know, he was a larger-than-life guy and a legend of world rugby, and it was very tragic, especially in the circumstances involved.
This the first home game and the first chance then for the Ospreys to pay tribute. And as a mark of respect, both teams then line up for a minute's silence. And to remember a legend that was Jerry Collins, who played here for a few seasons, and one of the greats to don not only the Ospreys shirt, but of course the All Black shirt.
Osprey supporters, players, management and staff have had to come together and pay tribute to somebody who remains close to all our hearts. After signing for the Ospreys from Toulon in 2009, supporters favourite Collins helped the region to a 3rd league title in his first season in Wales, scoring 5 tries in 29 games, including the first Pro 12 final against Leinster in 2010 and Heineken Cup quarter-final versus Biarritz. Such was his impact in that first season, he was voted Players' Player of the Year. The following season he made a further 27 appearances, his final game in an Ospreys shirt being the Pro 12 semi-final defeat in Munster in 2011. Jerry was capped 48 times by the All Blacks, including 3 as captain, and the 34-year-old also played for the Hurricanes, Yamaha, and most recently, Nawa. He was his own man, a true individual, and a giant of the world game. Jerry made a huge impact during his short time in the Ospreys jersey, and will be sadly missed by everybody in rugby, and also his family and friends. Before we pause to remember JC, Ospreys captain Lloyd Ashley and Francis Sidley of Munster will lay a formal tribute on behalf of their heroes. Can we now please ask you for a minute's silence to remember the great Jerry Collins. Thank you.
A touching moment as both Lloyd Ashley and Francis Siley lay wreaths in memory of Jerry Collins. Siley incidentally played alongside him for the Pacific Barbarians 3 years ago. The Ospreys team then for today's encounter. 7 changes to the side that lost out in Ulster. Injuries to Ben John in the back lineup means a few changes. Owen Watkin gets his chance, and 50 caps, 50 not out for both Sam Davis and captain Lloyd Ashley. 8 changes for the Munster side from that team that played against Treviso, and first starts for New Zealand's Francis Siley and Tyler Blainendal. Australian import Mark Chisholm will prove a valuable addition in the Boiler House. Felix Jones captains the side after he failed to make the cut for the Irish World Cup squad. Those are the replacements, hoping to make a mark as the game goes on. Dudley Phillips from Ireland is our referee for today's encounter, and an important one, as mentioned, for the Ospreys as they try and gain their first points of the season. Sam Davis gets us underway at the Liberty Stadium. And Munster clear their lines. And as we said, Ian, quite odd that there's so much riding on this game early on, but that was such an un-Osprey performance, if you like, out in Belfast.
Yeah, what's coming back from the camp is that they were way below the standards that they've set. The detail wasn't there, which is massive for them, and a lot of boys have been given some home truths and given a lot of homework this week, and hopefully we're going to see a massive reaction. And
the Ospreys try and spread it early on, bringing Dan Evans into the line, Brendan Leonard, and he'll have a big role to play now. He was brought over mainly as cover for Rhys Webb during large parts when Webb would have been on international duty, but unfortunately, given the sad incident last week, his role now is only going to increase.
He's a superb player, playing against him even last year with the Dragons as well. He was the guy you pinpointed as a threat, in that Zebra team. He was the guy you had to lock down, so he's only going to add a lot to this.
Dan Baker will be looking to prove a point as well. He would have been disappointed to, well, he was culled in the immediate, in the wake of the first Ireland game.
I was gutted for Dan because I know what he can do, and that game, it didn't go well for the team, and unfortunately when that happens, some players bear the brunt, and he was the one. A few uncharacteristic mistakes from him, and and he sort of bore the brunt of the axe.
Well, Munster tried to clear through the aerial route. Unfortunately for the Ospreys, it has gone forward. Not a great kick from Cathal Sheridan, the scrum half.
It's nice to see the Ospreys come out really running the ball, because after a loss, especially when below standards, you'd expect them just to get themselves into the game and kick the ball a bit more. But some great hands, and they really put themselves on the front foot straight away.
Joe Bierman, we had a quick look at him there. He won't be donning the number 6 jersey, and that as a mark of respect. They've retired the jersey today in memory of Jerry Collins. Some early trouble. BJ Bota, a late replacement for Stephen Archer on the tight. Bags of experience, the South African prop.
He brings the average age up as well. I think in between him and Chisholm, that they're the 2 oldest in the squad, and they sort of brought it in. But on days like this, when last week the performance wasn't there, it's good to bring a bit of experience in and sort of shore the ship up.
I'm sure Chisholm will be a valuable acquisition. No Paul O'Connor this year, of course. He's going on to pastures new. After the World Cup, he'll be moving to Toulon. Steady scrum. They've gone to ground, and to the surprise of the Ospreys faithful on the far side, it's gone against the home side.
Sometimes it becomes a 50-50 decision. The ref wants to stamp his authority on the game. It looked just a pretty even, sort of hotly contested scrum there, but it's gone against. I wouldn't be surprised if the next one goes for us, for the Ospreys. So
Dimitri Arhip, the Moldovan, he had his trouble last year. Good start, but then a middle period, the Ospreys did have trouble in the tight exchanges.
He's a phenomenally strong guy. He actually lived with me for a little while when he first came across, and phenomenal. But the standard of rugby that he was playing in Russia and for Moldova, wasn't to this intensity. So as the season went on, he just didn't have that conditioning. But now, he's had another season and got over his injuries, and he should be really good.
Sheridan looking to release quickly to Blayendal. The chip and chase. Dan Evans is there. He'll have to come over. He's done well, the Wales fullback, as the forwards pile in to help him out and lend a hand.
That was well covered by Dan there. That was a cracking little chip, and he had a lot of heat on him, so fair play to him how he came through that. He's been a great player for the Ospreys over the last year, and the Dragons were pretty daft to let him go, and it benefited the Ospreys now.
Leonard with a box kick. Munster deal with it though. Sheridan. Blayendal sweeps it out, the miss pass in midfield, but the Ospreys have lined them up and have reformed. They've fanned across that blitz defence. Sheridan surveys the options. A bit of possession here for Munster as they try and get over that gain line. Sheridan again to the New Zealander, back inside. Better from Munster. Well, they're recycling well, but at the moment the Ospreys are dealing with it and they force an error. Well, that was good play, they'd be happy with that.
Yeah, great. They let them punch themselves out. They sort of a bit of sparring going on, and the Ospreys have turned them over on the halfway line. So we just really important that this scrum is good for them.
Francis Saili, 2 caps for New Zealand.
I think, judging by the ref's comments there, that he realised there was a bit of skullduggery going on the other side as well, so he'll be very eyes about in these next few scrums.
Yeah, you mentioned Chisholm. They've got this knack of bringing quality in at the right time, haven't they, Munster? They lose Paul O'Connell, and they probably need someone of his experience. 58 caps for Australia on board.
Yeah, they've got a very good recruitment drive. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what type of character suits them as well. And that's why they've been one of the top Irish regions for years and years, and their Heineken Cup success. Well,
the first scrum went against the Ospreys. They'll be looking to make amends here. Nicky Smith on the loose head side. He was initially in the Wales squad as well. But important, though, for these players to be playing. You never know with injuries. We've seen it, unfortunately, happened last week against Italy. They're one call away, aren't they?
Exactly, especially being a home World Cup. They're an hour away from being in mix.
Well, this time the free kick goes the Ospreys' way. Baker, they try and shift it left to Jonathan Spratt. Pushes Munster back into the own 22. I think Dirksen fancied his chances there.
I'd have got him in the game early there. Was it a free kick or a penalty?
It was a free kick, yeah.
Well, they did well. They upped the tempo of the game and they got it down there. But I think you need to get Hanno Dirksen in this game early. He's that type of character.
You mentioned at the start, no Tom Grabham. Unfortunately, he's had a nasty injury as well. He could be out for 8 weeks. Ashley Beck suffered a terrible injury last week, and he could be out for 8 months. He's had rotten luck, Ashley Beck.
Yeah, he has. I feel for him because his groin went last year and he's out for a while. But it gives this Owen Watkin, an 18-year-old lad from Bryncathyn, and all I've heard is good things about him. 18, but he plays a lot older than that in his head. So it'd be really interesting to see how he goes in this sort of environment.
Leonard spins it out to Davis. Watkin comes in. Good ball here for the Ospreys. Spratt spots a half gap, taken down by his opposite number, Rory Scannell. But again, they recycle quickly. Nicky Smith charges on.
He rode that tackle really well. He's a young lad, come through the Ospreys structure, phenomenally strong, as our hip is, and Parry in the middle. Unbelievable strength on them, and they're transferring that to the ground now.
Baker on the crash, and again they're asking questions of the Munster defensive line here. Leonard on the short side, pops it back inside of Watkin. Good hands.
I think the Munster defence was superb last week, but they're up against a different animal this week, so let's see how their stats are at the end of this.
Well, they are where they want to be here. Sam Davis out to Spratt again. Just a bit laboured, a bit slow to get it away, but I'm not sure if it's a penalty or went forward from a Munster hand, but it's still there for Leonard. He's asking for support from his forwards.
No, just be nice to see the Ospreys get a bit of width here, because they're all inside that near post. So you just try and get their width out, so if it is on out wide, and they can use it once they've worn them down.
Still they go, the Ospreys, right in the far corner. Options here, and they keep it tight to Lloyd Ashley, the captain, leading by example. But Dudley Phillips, there was the penalty, and there was no advantage and a perfect opportunity for Sam Davis, you'd think, to slot this one over.
It's great to give your 10-1 right in front of the post to settle his nerves, eh?
Well, we saw that the Blues last week missing about 7 conversions. In the end, they didn't need them against Zebra. But this one,
that was a good sustained period of pressure for the Ospreys there, and they stressed Munster, and they were making gain line upon gain line, so they want to keep that up, keep that pressure, keep down this half of the field.
Former Blues player there, Robin Copeland, as Sam Davis nonchalantly knocks that one over, and the Ospreys deservedly take a 3-point lead. They would have liked a bit more, but they'll settle for 3 points for the time being. And Sam Davis, of course, has a big responsibility as well in this World Cup period, where Dan Biggar, of course, is away with Wales.
He's a good guy, Sam, and he's working so hard at his game, you know, and what a person to be helping him is Dan Biggar in front of him, who is, you know, he's tireless in his efforts on the practice pitch.
Young player of the 2013 Junior World Cup, Sam Davis. Of course, he hasn't got a bar tutor in his father, Nigel.
No, it can be quite intense over the dinner table, I can imagine, on a Sunday, yeah?
Nigel Senior now, Davis Senior, I should say, now with Iberville in the Welsh Premier. Good ball off the top, Leonard. Another former All Black, 6 caps in this Osprey lineup today. So plenty of experience, Davis. Oh. Well, there's plenty of movement, unfortunately. Christian Phillips wasn't expecting it. A chance then for Munster to counter.
Yeah, it was quite a tough pass for Christian to take there. It was out the back. It was a bit of a back pocket pass, but with a bit too much heat on it, I think.
So Dudley Phillips is still playing advantage. Sheridan.
Oh.
To Blayendal. Another All Black, Saili, Francis Saili. Was isolated momentarily, but Saili again. To Mike Sherry now. Unfortunately for the Ospreys, they did slow Munster ball up, but illegally so, and there'll be a chance for an attempt at the posts.
Yeah, you have to feel for these players that just get caught. You know, there's about probably 20, 30 stone leaning on top of you and trying to get the wrong side of that ball. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do.
Well, that could have been dangerous, as it was. It was Andrew Conway taking the aerial route, and here's the offence, Ian. Yeah, Dimitri R. hip, hands in the ruck.
Yeah, it's a bit too obvious. I think they'd be disappointed with that as well, because right in front of the posts, they've had a good pressure. The last thing you want to do is let them off the hook and give them some points back.
Tyler Blayendal, who's played for the New Zealand under-20 side, and one of 4 players starting for the first time in the Munster shirt today. No problem at all for the new outside half, and Munster hit back almost immediately.
Yeah, it was a bit of a cheap penalty to give away there. They'd be very disappointed with the work that they did to get their penalty, to give one back so cheaply, so quickly. You know, I'm sure Steve would be losing another couple of ginger hairs in the stand there.
Davis goes long. Oh, it's out on the full. Yeah, he misjudged that one, and he won't be happy. And Ian mentioned Steve Tandy. He will not be pleased with that.
It's just a time to settle their nerves now. They've sort of rattled themselves a bit there, and you know, as they said with their analysis from last week, you know, uncharacteristic mistakes, standards that have dropped a bit. Just, you know, just level the ship off a bit now, and just settle it all down.
Okay, fellas, we're yet to complete a scrum.
Obviously a tough place to go, Belfast, first off, but it's a place where the Ospreys have done well over the past few seasons, and it was that run 4 years ago during the World Cup that gave them the platform. This period is going to be so important this year because there are so many players away.
It's a hugely important area, and where Ospreys have been written off every year and done very well every year. So, you know, I think they like the title of that and like that, you know, the expectation going against them. But there we go, it's gone 50-50 back to us. I thought that
it's
even
always
looked
going to
like a
happen,
good Munster scrum.
Yeah. Well, they were both upstanding, but this time Dudley Phillips has penalised BJ Bota.
Yeah, it seemed to me they were on the top there. I'm no front row expert, so I'm sure Adam Jones will text me later and tell me I don't know what I'm on about, but they did look to be on the front foot.
But Sam Davies has failed to find touch. They'll get a second bite of the cherry here. Hasn't found his range, Sam Davies, as of yet.
He just needs to settle himself down a bit, and you know, that's the great thing that these 10s are getting. You know, they can make mistakes. I think Dan make a mistake, but you know, he reassesses, gets his head right, and then comes back off the back of it. So you pretty much need to have Rhino skin as a 10 in Wales.
To the back, Leonard goes himself. Good break, searing pace here from Leonard. Just didn't have anybody on his shoulder, but if they could recycle, there's danger here for Munster. They have got their shape back though defensively. Sam Davies, good break there by Leonard, and here he is again.
Great play. He didn't force the offload. You know, he could. You know, a lesser experienced player would have tried to get that offload off, and been intercepted. He didn't. He kept the ball and kept the momentum.
He's slowed up though, so they'll go through the forwards once more. Bierman tries to make the hard yards, and they have gained a penalty. Christian Phillips thought about taking a quick one, so you'd imagine it'll be another three-pointer here, but Sam Davies has seen acres of space, unfortunately not quite executed properly. Hannah Dirksen was out there on the right flank.
You've got to give these players license to do things like that, and you know, I'd take my hat off, but I would like to see the faces of the coaches in the stand with a penalty that was pretty much in front of the post for there.
As you say, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It comes off and he's the hero, but it's fine margins.
Yeah, you're either getting bought beer or you're buying all the beers, and I think you know, for that one he might be buying a few.
Here's the break again, Leonard, as you said, didn't panic. He could be the most valuable player for the Ospreys now. He's going to have a long run in that position.
Back you go.
Going through the lineouts, Munster Ospreys, I think they've lost very few lineouts, both teams, but they're so hotly contested. But the last 3 or 4 games that they played each other, the lineouts have almost gone with throw.
Sam Underhill, first chance to have a look at him in Osprey colours. England under 18 captain from Gloucester, Sam Underhill.
Yeah, young 19-year-old that's, you know, he's rated very highly already in the Osprey setup, so you know, he will be one to watch this year.
On the narrow side they go. Leonard to the captain again, leading by example. Lloyd Ashley. A lot of possession here for the Ospreys. They need to make it pay.
No, never lost it.
Sweeps it out, Leonard, to Watkin, but he's taken Francis Saili with him, so they're behind the gain line here.
You know, for an 18-year-old, he rode that well. He was tackled by 2 players, made the wrong decision probably, but you know, it's not a wrong decision if you get away with it and recycle the ball.
Young Rory Thornton there, captain of the Wales under-20s in Italy. Here's Underhill once more. Good charge by the open side. Now then, they've got an opportunity on the far side. There are men over there. They sweep it out to Christian Phillips.
I think they probably gave him the ball a bit too early there. I think they should have sort of tried to get the Munster defence a little bit more honest rather than spreading it so wide quickly.
Well, they are going through the phases. Again, Munster have managed to slow things down. One of the Munster players receiving treatment, and they'll have to stop. because
I'm actually quite surprised that they let the game sort of flow, because I think Jonathan Spratt had to dance his way around that injury as well. So, you know, you've got to be a little bit intelligent with how you do this with the injuries that are happening.
Yeah, good work by Sam Underhill, as we mentioned.
You look very strong there. You know, for a 7 to carry the ball as strong as that, you'd be looking at your 8s normally to make runs like that, but a very strong run.
Been playing his rugby with Bridgend as well, Sam Underhill. And with Justin Tipperick, of course, away with Wales. He'll have a run during this autumn period. There is a gap in this Pro 12, a 2-week gap during the World Cup. So you're playing in blocks almost. If they can get a notch a win here now, they play Edinburgh. They're away to Edinburgh next week. So that's going to be a tough game for them as well.
Yeah, do you know what? They're all tough until you get that few wins, until you get that confidence going. You know, you sort of question yourself and, you know, you doubt yourself a little bit, you know, but even nicking that first swing and then rolling off that, then it's a different story.
73% possession there for the Ospreys. They'd have hoped to have done better in terms of the scoreboard during this first quarter.
Yeah, there's been 6 points there, you know, 3 points that they didn't take with that crossfield kick. And the 3 points that they gave away cheaply as well. So they'll be disappointed, but they're playing the game in the right area. So it's just converting that into points now. Yeah, about Sam Underhill there, speaking to the guys, he's just really impressed everyone in training so much over the summer that he's earned his chance there. And young Ollie Cracknell on the bench there at 6. You know, he'll make his first appearance, I think, if he gets on today, and he'll be one to look at as well.
Haven't gone anywhere near a bind, okay? I don't want that early bind, okay?
Well, there has been a few penalties in this facet so far. Dudley Phillips not really sure in terms of the perpetrators.
I've set the mark. There's the mark. Slightly to the left of both of you. Let's go.
Yeah, he's getting a bit narky with them as well there. So he's trying to stamp his authority as Nigel Owens does all too often. We'll just see how what sort of decision he makes off this one, and hopefully can stay up.
Good position here for the Ospreys, though. Options on both sides, and you see Dirksen is just lurking behind Brendan Leonard.
He's a very confrontational guy, Hanno Dirksen, and you know, he's very eager to get on the ball and really eager to sort of impress himself on the game very early. So, you know, no wonder he's twitching around the place here just to get his hands there.
And he's had his problems with injuries over the years as well, Hanno Dirksen. A long layoff a few seasons ago.
And with the arrival of Jeff Hassler as well, has put a bit more pressure in that situation too. So he's always very eager to put a performance in.
Finally, they pack down, but Munster making real problems for the Ospreys, and they've stolen it. No, they haven't. Chance for Sam Davis then. The Ospreys did well in the end to secure possession there.
That was a fantastic scrum from Munster.
Well, the ball is coming back, and you can hear the Osprey fans not happy at all with that decision by Dudley Phillips. Ball popped out. I thought Munster had stolen it, given the pressure that came through at that scrum.
The Ospreys have got to be a bit clever now, because the last 2 scrums, they got the penalty, but Munster seemed on top, and that scrum there, the refs' sort of opinion of the scrum will be, you know, decided in this next few scrums. So if the Ospreys are on the back foot, then Munster are going to get a lot of the decisions. So they've got to be very careful.
Yeah, he's just having a chat, I think, and he doesn't want the competition at the scrum to deteriorate.
Which Munster will pay no attention to and keep trying to drive them back at every time, I'm sure.
Experienced front trio for Munster in Dave Kilcoyne, Mike Sherry and BJ Bota.
Yeah, they've got some experience with 3 and 4 there with BJ and Mark Chisholm. You know, that's the guys that you want in there, and they sort of make a big difference. They sort of give you that edge.
Sheridan.
Now that's better from the Ospreys.
The secondary shove coming. And again, they made a hash of it. Sheridan under pressure. This could be nasty, but the New Zealander, Blayendal, did very well.
Use it!
It was an awkward pass back from Sheridan, who is on the ball now. And they'll settle for that.
Yeah, Mike O'Driscoll o Munster yn ymuno gyda fi. Mike, your assessment of the first 20 minutes?
I think it's been a tough 20 minutes for us. I think we're under a lot of pressure for the last 10 minutes or so. I thought we started relatively well, but now we seem to be under a small bit of pressure, so we're just trying to consolidate and get out of there.
Yeah, under a bit of pressure, as you said, but your defence seems to be holding at the moment.
It is, it's holding out at the moment, but you know, on a side as good as the Ospreys, you can't keep defending like this. They will break you at some stage, so the key thing for us is consolidate, get a good quality ball and get back down the pitch into Ospreys territory.
And a nasty knock as well for one of your forwards.
Yeah, Dave Kilcoyne just took a nasty bang in the ribs, but he seems to be doing okay. He did well at that previous scrum there, so I think hopefully he seems to be okay.
Mick O'Driscoll, thank you very much for your time.
Mick O'Driscoll there, another Munster legend on the coaching staff. As the Ospreys give away a penalty, Joe Bierman isolated and pinned for holding on.
They were very quick on the ball, Munster. They have been the last 3 or 4 phases, so we've just got to make sure the pattern that the Ospreys are playing, just make sure they've got support really close to them, because they really are attacking our first 1 or 2 players.
Blayendal takes Munster down to the 22. And they've had very little opportunity, Munster, during this first 25 minutes. So a chance now, Sheridan out to the centre, Rory Scannell. Product of the academy system. Changes direction, Sheridan with a kick. This is could be a try here for Munster. Great bit of skill by Cathal Sheridan. Stephen Fitzgerald was on it like a flash. Now, has he managed to ground it? That is the big question. He looks fairly confident.
Do you know what? That was an absolutely superb bit of play. That's where analysis has probably come into it, because they know that the Ospreys hooker is covering back down that side. And just the kick against the run of play, just put a hooker against a winger, and it's just absolutely superbly sort of weighted kick as well. If he hasn't got that down, you'll be pretty disappointed, because the kick was pretty pinpoint.
Derek Bevan is the TMO this afternoon, and we're just going to have a look here. Fantastic bit of skill by Sheridan, the scrum half.
There was an awful lot asked of Sam Parry there.
They're checking the offside as well.
Well, that angle to me looked pretty good, so it'll have to be a different angle at the sides.
Well, they're not going to see the offside from there. That's Stephen Fitzgerald, left of frame on the bottom. That's okay. Now then, they'll check the grounding, the second part of the question.
Check the grounding, please.
Just got away from him initially, and it has, and he has managed to get the ball down.
He almost overran
it.
He did. He almost was too quick, and Sam Parry will have a huge sigh of relief, but then he will be twitching for the next time he's on that blind side in the same play.
It is not us. It's going to be a scrum to black, 5-metre ball. Oh!
Dudley Phillips just having a look on the screen here at the Liberty Stadium.
Bev, can you confirm, was the ball knocked on or did it go dead?
Can you show it? We'll check it now for you, Dudley.
Yes, please, yeah.
Well, Derek Bevan wants to
If
have
it goes
another
dead,
look
it's
at
going to
it.
be option. Oh, so knock on, Bev.
Yeah, scrum 5, black ball.
And
Scrum.
as we thought, no try. It's gone forward from
Time on. Thank you.
Stephen Fitzgerald. And the first chance for Munster goes begging, but it was almost a brilliant piece of skill by Sheridan.
I asked the same question.
And Fitzgerald almost went over for the first try.
Looking at it, I was sure it was going to be a 22 to the
Now,
Ospreys, that was, so
let's
I've
work
been
harder on
brought
this
up
engagement
to
process,
speed myself
okay?
on that.
Let's get a slightly bigger gap, okay? And not too heavy on the engagement, okay? Let's go.
Still deep in their own 22. So the Ospreys will be eager to go through their work here and secure possession. Baker did well from the base of the scrum. A chance for Jonathan Spratt here, if they can recycle Baker again in the thick of things.
You know, high risk rugby. If Jonathan Spratt could have got that ball away, then they were away. But very high risk rugby. You know, and the Ospreys, Lou said, seem to be having a real tough time there. The Munster front row seem to be coming right across onto the Ospreys tight end.
Munster took it quickly, but they'll have to come back. Dudley Phillips wasn't happy. But good work defensively by the Ospreys.
No need to. No, we're just going to take it again, okay?
Because the scrum so far have been a bit of a lottery. And Dan Baker had to pick up from the base, and he did well.
He did very well there. The scrum, they were coming right across onto the tight end, and he picked up and sort of left the Munster scrum behind. But one more pass would have made a big difference.
Well, the throw was wayward and a chance for the Ospreys to counter, but they haven't done so, and it's straight out on the full from Christian Phillips, and Hanno Dirksen is really cross and frustrated and saying, well, why wasn't I given the opportunity?
I think Christian Phillips had his boots on the wrong way there, and I don't think he'll have any any nice words from the forward said about it after pinching a line out, which we said earlier, really sort of, they normally go with throw, so to get that steal. And they had a bit of a move on Munster by then, but you can see all their players bailing out of the line out, and to put it straight in touch there and kept them in the pressure would be disappointing.
Yeah, one to forget from Christian Phillips. Well, the Ospreys have regained it, it's gone forward. So both teams having problems in the set plays.
That's 2 steals there from the Ospreys, and that's uncharacteristic from Munster. The size is, you can't judge the size of this Ospreys front row, because Sam Parry in the middle, phenomenally strong person. Nicky Smith is as strong as anyone in the squad, and he was from the time he was 18. And then Dimitri Arhip, he just looks like a block that's been carved out of granite. So, they're a very short, very wide sort of front row, and they've got to make that sort of pressure push through now and change the referee's mind.
They got Paul James as well coming back after 2 seasons with Bath, so he'll had some experience, and scrummager as well, Paul James, on the loose head.
They loved him in Bath, and in that English league is very strong up front, and he came out with great plaudits, so he'll be a massive addition.
Well, early engagement from the Ospreys means it's a Munster free kick. Good hit there, and Munster have it through Sheridan. Out to the big men in the second row, Chisholm. Sheridan wants it, but it's slowed up by the home side. Blaindal, good run by Copeland. Well, Sheridan was on his shoulder, the pass never came, and that was an opportunity that went begging for Munster. And they should have finished that off.
It'd be great to see who got their hands on the ball there, because they cut them very well on the inside. They're leaving a couple of the slower forwards on the inside there and having fast guys run at them, and whoever got their hands on the ball for that turnover, really did sort of up his stat sheet and his chances for a man of the match there.
Sam Davis finds touch.
Yeah, Marv, a couple of moments, just a couple in the goal and just need Peffer eitha diddi o fewn sgil nhw, ond hefyd gêm ni falle dim digon o balans ynglyn â beth i'n neud. Mae gyflymdra, mae fe just y balans dim yn hollol iawn. Ie, yn sicr, ni wedi cael y blaenwyr yn cael iddo'n bel yn well. Boys fel Baker a Nicky Smith, Rory Thornton yn dod mewn i'r gêm. Ed falle wedyn ni'n lledu'r bel, heb wneud digon i cefnwyr Munster. Hwna oedd y tacteg, ni heb lleihau llinell amddiffyn nhw eto. How you going?
Griff Rhys there, the Ospreys attack coach, just saying that they have probably had enough balance in their game.
Neges di bod, ni eisiau i'r pac i carry on corfforol, ond hefyd edrych am y plus pass. Ni ond i wneud un neu ddau, mae cwbl o weithiau allan ni gael boys fel BJ Boat, just tynnu mewn i ryw raddau. Wedyn bydd Tyler Blaendal a Francis Eileen yn wedig yn dod mewn o'r sefyllfa fel yma, falle agor y two-sided attack i agor lan, i heb wneud na, i just i mynd mewn i'r canol a wedyn mynd syth i'r touch-an arall. So ni just yn eisiau balance i bod yn well.
Yeah, balance, the key word, according to Griff Rhys. They haven't mixed it up enough, according to the Ospreys attack coach.
You're just giving Munster a bit too much possession in their half. That's where the first 20 minutes they were good, but just a few little mistakes have kept Munster down here, and they don't want that. They want all the sort of play to be their side of the halfway line.
Leonard, he was taken back, so he couldn't go direct to touch. Felix Jones, the captain this afternoon, he goes the aerial route. And he's done well as well, the Ireland fullback. He's missed out on selection for the Irish campaign. But certainly a good provincial player, Felix Jones. Chisholm, the Australian, 58 caps for the Wallabies. And it is going to be a Munster penalty here. Dudley Phillips playing advantage, and Sheridan knows that. Jones again up from fullback. This Munster's best period of the first half, and they might well settle for the 3 points here.
I think they do. They've been, I say, very clinical, but that try not going down sort of hurt them. But when they've been in the Ospreys half, they've really caused problems. And the Ospreys obviously were thrown away that 3 points. I know it was an opportunist sort of effort from Sam for the crossfield kick, but sometimes early on in the game you've just got to be a little bit careful.
And just giving a few needless penalties away, the Ospreys. There's Chisholm, and yeah, just Lloyd Ashley being penalised there, just getting in the way, I think, the captain. And it's those moments that could prove so crucial in the end. Tyler Blaendal, who's slotted one over, trying to put Munster in the leads. Certainly got the legs. It's a good strike from Blaendal, and it's over. So he has punished the Ospreys, and they take a 3-point advantage. And with so much possession against a side like Munster, the Ospreys will be ruing not taking advantage during this first half. 8 minutes to go, though. Well, they could do with a score. Oh, charged down by Dirksen, and unfortunately it's gone over the dead ball line. But Francis Sailly caught napping there. Good bit of pressure by Hanno Dirksen.
Yeah, very good, and he'll grow into that. You know, he wants these instances in the game, Hanno. And you know, that was a real good charge down, just a bit too strong off his face by the seams and straight over the dead ball line.
No, that could have gone anywhere. That may have worked for Hanno Dirksen. Sam Davis back there for the Ospreys, out to Dan Baker. Now he loves to run with ball in hand, Dan Baker. Strong as an ox. Davis just a bit narrow in midfield. Jonathan Spratt just being caught behind the gain line at the moment, the Ospreys.
Yeah, we just ruined our flow there. I think it was Nicky Smith there, was just in the wrong position, caught flat-footed, which put the Munster defence on the front foot and us on the back. So it's just our organisation that we need to get a bit better, a bit quicker.
Leonard to his captain, Lloyd Ashley. Underhill, who's impressed in this first half.
He's looking strong, and I think Munster are creeping offside there as well. They were lucky to get away with that. But,
just an injection of pace by Underhill as well. Dan Evans a chance to run here. To the blind side goes Christian Phillips. Just need to keep their patience here, the Ospreys. Go through the basics, go through the phases, maybe gain a penalty as well. Leonard to Spratt. Bierman, good run. And good offload to Sam Parry. Now then, who's with him? Leonard. No one quite in support, but there were Munster hands all over the ball. Now then.
No, that's a yellow card. That's got to be a yellow card. That was absolutely... No, that was a complete professional foul by Munster. No way was he on his feet.
Well, they were behind the Munster defensive line. Now, Lloyd Ashley is asking the question. That was a professional foul, and surely a card should be brandished.
Absolutely. From the first moment I saw that, he was off his feet. He's completely ruined an Ospreys chance in a 22 after a great sort of clean break by Joe Bierman.
Well, Sam Parry with a cut, nasty cut on his forehead, charges down the middle. It was a great offload, but great work initially by Joe Bierman. On went Sam Parry, but it's there, Ian, that the Ospreys wanted quick ball, and Dave Kilcoyne was all over it.
It's an absolute professional foul. That's what the yellow card was brought in for, and I think they'd be very lucky there not to lose a player.
And we saw the shot of Sam Parry with the blood flowing, and he's gone off to receive treatment. A few stitches required, I think.
Yeah, he's a tough character, and you know, the footage from that and the photos will probably go up on his wall, you know, to show he's a bit of a Viking.
The Ospreys get their 3 points, but probably deserved a bit more. And we're back level, 6 points apiece. Duncan Williams comes on for Cathal Sheridan. But Joe Bierman, you played with him, he's got that knack, isn't he, of just lifting players around him. He's a great ball carrier. And that's what was required there, just to lift the spirits.
He's hugely strong, but you know, his footwork came into effect there. You know, you want to stay away from his handoff, but you know, he skipped through that, and the great offload at the back door as well, and you know, bringing Sam Parry, who's a big unit, onto that ball at pace.
Ospreys shifted right. Not the greatest kick by Jonathan Spratt. He's given possession away to Munster. They can't afford to give any penalties away. Good hit there. Good double hit. Leonard and Scott Orton, who's come on momentarily for Sam Parry.
That's a great thing for a forward to come on and get that hit, and straight away just gets you in the game, and it was superb. But poor play from the Ospreys. They want to be clearing their lines. They don't want to play the game. It was too much of a speculator.
There he is. Take that, Orton and Leonard. He's well thought of, Scott Orton, under 20s hooker.
He came through the academy system while I was helping coach out there as well, and you know, very hard on himself, Scott. You know, he demanded excellence, and you know, likes that, and he worked supremely hard on his game off the pitch, and it's nice to see him come through and put some performances in and get some start and get some game time.
Scott Baldwin, of course, with Wales, he's come on leaps and bounds. Scott Baldwin, who took to rugby very late on. I remember doing an interview with him a few years ago.
That's a better scrum from the Ospreys. Better scrum. They can go through them. This changes the referee's opinion. Fantastic.
Picker to Dirksen. Takes two down with him now. If they can release here, they've got men on the outside. Lloyd Ashley again. Drives on to Sam Davis. It's high, a bit too far though. The Ospreys asking for an offside.
Great counter-ruck, and I think it was Jonathan Spratman.
And Scott Bolton was on it like a flash, but Duncan Williams has done well there. Now it's Dave Foley. Coming up to the last minute then. Topsy-turvy first half. The Ospreys have had their chances. Possibly deserve to be up more. But Munster, as they always do, have hit back as well and could have scored through Stephen Fitzgerald. So it promises to be a tough second 40. The Ospreys don't want to give anything silly away, but Munster were crept up and were offside.
Now a good opportunity for Sam Davis. This is in his range, and what a nice way to sort of finish the half.
Not many clear-cut opportunities for either side. You had that Sam Davis went for the crossfield kick. Just didn't manage to get hold of Hanno Dirksen.
And the same with Munster as well, which just sort of, two good efforts. But yeah, they've not sort of broken the line yet. But they both had their purple patches. Ospreys have been sort of hammering inside the 22 in that red zone, and then Munster the same. So it has really sort of gone back and forth.
Well, this will be the final act of the first 40. Sam Davis, this the toughest of the lot so far. 45 metres. But he has got one heck of a boot, Sam Davis. This to give the Ospreys confidence. Just hanging up in the air. Has it got the legs? Yes, it has. So a great confidence booster. I'm sure those two are happy. Alan Wynne-Jones and Duncan Jones, as is Sam Davis and the Osprey faithful. No tries in the first 40. It's nip and tuck between the Ospreys and Munster, but a great 45-metre kick from Sam Davis gives them a slender 9 points to 6 lead on the interval. Make sure you come back for second half commentary at the Liberty Stadium. Close encounter between the Ospreys and Munster. Just 3 points separating the sides. Not many clear-cut opportunities during the first half. If you're just joining us, welcome to this English language interactive service on the Club Rugby. Live English commentary of this Pro 12 encounter on the second weekend between the Ospreys and Munster. The Ospreys going down last week against Ulster. Munster with an unconvincing win over Treviso. And it's got that feel of an early season game with both sides just feeling their way into this one.
Two very close sides here, and it's going to come down. The Ospreys have probably made a few more mistakes than Munster, and that's what this game could be sort of decided on.
Former Wales and Ospreys second row. Ian Goff joining me in the commentary box here in the Liberty Stadium. Tyler Blaindal gets us underway in Swansea for the second half. Leonard to Sam Davis. Feigned a kick there, but used Dan Evans' useful left boot. Felix Jones. Again, it's Blaindal, the New Zealand under-20s player. Davis targeting a bit of space behind the Munster back line.
That was a poor kick by Munster. It gives Sam Davis a lot of time, and in fairness to him, he picked that spot out straight away and nailed it straight into that sort of 5-yard area and into touch. So good play, good return by Sam.
Just pushing Munster back. Plenty of possession for the Ospreys in the first half. plenty of territory as well.
Oh, don't come in, don't come in. Yeah. One stop.
Mike Sherry has it in the back. Duncan Williams, well, that was about a mile forward. Not quite sure. I think Stephen Fitzgerald on the far side was expecting the box kick from Duncan Williams.
Yeah, there was miscommunication there and a bit of an edgy start by Munster, which is great from an Ospreys perspective.
Fitzgerald, the closest that came to trying the first half. Great bit of work by Carl Sheridan, the scrum half, who's now gone off. Fitzgerald failed the ground for Munster. Leonard, he wants it, but Munster doing their level best to slow it up. They've done so, but it's down from Dan Baker. Well, that's poor. They'd be very, very disappointed with that, the Ospreys.
They were trundling on really nicely there, and Munster, the guy seemed to actually crawl over the top of the maul to get his hands on it, and it's, you know, it's anybody's guess sometimes what happens in these mauls. It's very hard to referee, and you know, sometimes as you're a team going forward, you just don't know where these players are coming from, if it's illegal or not.
The wind's picked up at the Liberty Stadium. Black clouds hovering above. So the elements may play a part as the game goes on.
You know, the last scrum for the Ospreys in the last half was very good. Let's see how they come out this half, because they need to change this referee's opinion and make sure in his mind that they're the dominant scrum.
Yeah, Dudley Phillips not really stamped his authority on this area. Plenty of warnings.
That side is engaged before we're going anywhere near, okay?
Sampari walking wounded, as you can see. And, still having trouble with that cut just on his forehead.
Yeah, I think that's his modelling contract out of the window. Back to hand modelling next time.
Sampari, of course, who came from the Dragons. And again, one of these will no doubt get plenty of rugby during this World Cup period.
Yeah, very, very large guy, very powerful, very strong in the gym, and he was rated very highly at the Dragons as well.
Dan Baker, no surprises there in front in terms of carries for the Ospreys. They do look to him to get over the gain line.
And Sam Underhill with 6 carries there, but you know, more importantly than that, sort of the way he carried it as well. He made a lot of ground, good footwork, and he was very strong as well.
Sampari's had the repairs, and they're ready to pack down.
Crouch. 5. Set.
It's been a bit frustrating, this area.
Very, very tight scrum there. The Ospreys just trying to get the nudge on at the end and making a bit of a mess of it just for the delivery.
Blendal clears. Dirksen to Dan Evans. Such an important cog in the Ospreys team last year, Dan Evans.
He's a superb player and his kicking stats are very good, but that was great hands by Dan Baker. You know, he wasn't selfish. They honed in on him, and just that little hands off made another 10 yards.
Bierman. Munster fan across the red shirts. Very disciplined. Burst and injection of pace by Christian Phillip. Now then, can they recycle quickly? Munster making a hash of it, but legally so. And a chance for them to counter. Well, after doing all the good work initially, they've given away a soft penalty. And a chance for Sam Davis again to go for the posts and open a 6-point gap.
I've been pretty impressed with Christian Phillip so far as well. He's shown some good sort of flight of feet and made some good yards, made good decisions. unfortunately for him there, the support wasn't with him quite quick enough, but Ospreys have benefited now with a kick in front of the post.
Well, initially they did well here, Munster. They drove through. But Sam Parry over the ball. And he did really well.
He did well. He looked slightly off his feet, so luckily the referee was on his way of thinking there, but he's got the penalty, which is important.
Well, it was a big penalty from Sam Davies to bring the first half to a close. This to open up a useful 6-point gap. Struck it well, Sam Davies, no problem at all. Straight through the uprights. And a bit of breathing space for the first time between the Ospreys and Munster.
Yeah, nice kick by Sam there. If you ask a lot of 10s, it's the ones in front of the post that they don't like the most, because it's the one everyone expects you to get. So that settles his nerves now after the decision he made with that cross kick earlier on. He sort of settled all that down and he's on good form.
Blaindal goes long, it's Baker on the charge. Won his first caps out in Japan in 2013, Dan Baker.
Munster loaded with 4 in the backfield there, the 8 taking it, so he's getting a head of steam up before the Ospreys defence can get anywhere near.
Yeah, Robin Copeland. Forwards out there. Dave Foley, one of them.
Munster are loaded down this side now, they need quick ball.
Scannell to Saili. Oh, good step inside by Andrew Conway. It's there for Duncan Williams. Good bit of ball here for the Irish side. Williams changes direction to Blaindal. What can he conjure up? Oh, straight through goes Williams.
Munster have obviously, with their analysis again, there's lots of spaces on the inside. You know, they've gone off 10 off second receiver as well, and they're actually getting those gaps where the Ospreys don't seem to be filling them inside their sort of outside defender.
Oh, they've given away a penalty though, Munster, and needlessly so. They were building up a bit of momentum there, and they were finding the hard yards.
It was the first half the Ospreys probably made more mistakes at the two teams, but Munster have come out again as an opposite, and they've been making all these mistakes and in crucial areas now.
Sam Davies bangs it down, and a bit of relief for the Ospreys.
Ydw wir, mae tîm Canada yma yn y Liberty, a mae Tyler Adron o'r Gweilch wrth gwrs yn ymuno gyda fi.
Listen what Tyler Adron has to say.
The game today, you're not playing.
The Osprey and Canadian international.
Being as a fan watching in a way?
Oh, it's exciting. It's fun to be on the other side of it and see what all the fans get to see every week. And I think the boys are putting on a good, consistent effort today.
And what do you make of their performance so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's going pretty well. Obviously, probably not quite as exciting as we'd like to play our rugby, but they're ticking the scoreboard over, and I think it's going to end quite well.
And the Canadian team here, of course, because it's the World Cup next week, and you've got Ireland in your first match at the Millennium Stadium on Saturday.
Yeah, it's great to have all this support. I'm sure a ton of them will be out. I've got a lot of messages from them, so it's nice to be staying here for a while and being able to carry that over to Millennium next week.
Tyler, I'll let you enjoy the rugby. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The thoughts of Tyler Adron, who obviously is away on duty with Canada, as is Jeff Hassler. He's been a valuable player, Ian, for the Ospreys over the past few years, as has Jeff Hassler.
Yeah, two superb, really raw talents when they came over. He seemed a little bit lightweight, to start with, and wasn't quite used to the way that we're playing rugby here, but he adapted very quickly, and he's pretty invaluable into the squad now. And Jeff Hassler the same, you know, a late starter to rugby and a superb talent.
You alluded to Ollie Cracknell in the taff, and that's him. The young flanker number 20 has just come on in place of Joe Bierman.
Yeah, played a bit of his rugby out in South Africa while in Gather, and is thought very highly of as well, so it'll be interesting to see him play.
A lot of youth on show for the Ospreys today, with Cracknell and Sam Underhill now in that back three with Dan Baker.
It must have been the 36 years of Joe Bierman that maybe needed a rest after a few runs in that first half.
So we are red.
Leonard, oh, he just caught napping there as the Munster forwards came through.
There seemed to be a bit of a miscommunication there, whether it was going to be a box kick or something fed.
And that's the kind of penalties that will have Steve Tandy in a rage, because it's a cheap penalty and a chance for Munster to claw back, but they're going to go for the corner. Well, the 3 points was an offer, but they want more. So this a true test of the Ospreys' character here, an important part in the context of the game.
Yeah, these 5-metre lineouts are very hard to defend. You've got to be right on the edge, and this is the first big test in this area.
I don't think we'll see the ball developing here. It'll be up the jumper as they come around to create that maul, which is so difficult to bring down. The Ospreys have done well, though, initially, but it's still there for Mike Sherry, number 2. He has it now. The red-shirted players come around, and it's so difficult to bring it to a halt. The Ospreys, though, have done well as they could have hoped for. Dave Kilcoyne has a go. Need to keep Munster out here. BJ Botha just goes out. As they drive on, they're right there on the try line. One more shove could do it for Munster. The Ospreys trying to hold them out, doing their level best, but Munster experts in this area, and it's the cross kick. It should be an easy score. It will be for Stephen Fitzgerald. Well, he almost went over in the first half. This time, there's no doubt, and Munster have their just rewards and the first try of the match.
Yeah, that was very well engineered. You know, they sucked everyone in with that driving ball. They were right on the line. They were within inches of the line, and they knew something had to give, and it was a space out wide. And you know, again, pinpoint kick, as the one was in the first half, and they made this one pay, and he just sort of strolled over the line for the catch.
Blaendal measured it to perfection, and Fitzgerald on hand to dot it down over the line.
Well, just when the Ospreys seemed to be stretching, seemed to sort of be making the pressure pay where Munster were making mistakes, again, Munster come in very clinical there and got the try.
Well, they kept it tight. They had a few goes around the fringes, but the vision of Blaendal saw that young man Fitzgerald was out there, and no one in an Ospreys shirt was anywhere near him. So an important score for Munster, with a chance for them to go in the lead. And he's nailed that one, Tyler Blaendal, and Munster go back into the lead just as the Ospreys opened up a 6-point gap.
Just looking at a few of the Munster forwards, BJ Botha seems to be struggling. He's sort of limp back, unless that's how his body feels every day now. But I can see a replacement being made on their side very soon in the front row.
Well, it's game on here at the Liberty Stadium after that try by Stephen Fitzgerald. There is a change then for Munster. James Cronin is on. I think Dave Kilcoyne has gone off.
Now, how can the Ospreys answer that? They've just gone behind. What is their reply to this now?
Yeah, Kilcoyne has gone off, and Sam Parry will as well depart. Nasty gash on his forehead, and on comes Scott Orton, who came on briefly in the first half.
Well, we've seen he's got his shoulders warm with a great hit, so you know, he should be into the game a bit warmer than he would have.
Two of the Ospreys front row then, former Wales under-20s players, Scott Orton and Nicky Smith. Nicky Thomas was the other under-20s prop.
all played for Wanaloid, I think, as they were coming through and struck fear into the hearts of every other local team that they come up against.
Well, Munster have their tails up now after that try. The high up and under from Blaendal. And it's retrieved as well by Munster. Ospreys just need to keep their shape now. They can't give any needless penalties away, because Munster have the momentum in their favour. Duncan Williams. Options on both sides, but the Ospreys are up in their defensive line. Williams again. Again, the high Gary Owen. But it's worked once. But this time, though, well, I thought Dan Evans was in, but Felix Jones has done brilliantly.
They're starting to get their flow a bit now, Munster. You know, they're mixing their game up. They're not making as many mistakes. That try really has sort of settled them down, and they're trying to get this territory game going by the looks of it. Brendan
Lennell tries to push Munster back, but Blaendal is there once again. Well, the aerial route again is chosen by Blaendal, and this kicking battle continues. And Fitzgerald in the end says enough's enough. It's a good touch finder from Stephen Fitzgerald, quickly taken by Christian Phillips. This ping-pong battle. And it's all about territory. Fitzgerald, this time, finds touch, and the Ospreys probably won that aerial battle.
Yeah, it was a bit of a boring period there if you're a spectator just watching it go back and forth, especially for a forward that are just doing 20-30 metre shuttles in the middle. But yeah, they'll be happy with that. They're inside the half. It's a position they can attack from.
Scott Oaten just come on in place of Sam Parry. Munster have nicked it though, and the Ospreys will be unhappy with that. Just lifts the pressure for Munster.
It wasn't a bad throw from Scott Otten there. It seemed to go right in the hands. It was very good defence by Munster that were right up in the same area, so could be a calling problem there. And Hano almost sniffed out a very big hit there.
Well, it did go forward in the end from Francis Saili. Playing with fire, Munster a bit there. He's a new acquisition this year from former Auckland and North Harbour player. As Duncan Casey is about to come on in place of Mike Sherry. So Anthony Foley ringing the changes as well. We're in that crucial period now where the next score is going to be so important in the context of this game.
They're two pretty even sides here as they're going at it, and exactly right, this next score, and it's going to be a mistake, you know, whoever makes the sort of least mistakes here, which is, you know, I know which is an easy thing to say, but you know, it really is balanced that finally.
That's the view of the two packs side by side. Shove comes in from Munster. Oh, they need to get it back. Well, power coming through from the Munster 8 there. That was a great scrum. Great hit from Lloyd Ashley. Blaendal again spotted a bit of space on the far side, and it's a great kick from Blaendal. Just puts pressure back on the Ospreys and gives Munster the territory that they crave, just where they want to be.
He's had a very solid game so far. It's pretty impressive. Nothing too flash, but you know, again, consistency. He's done very well.
Into the last quarter then. And they need to show their resolve now, the Ospreys. Scott Orton.
It's a great throw by Scott Orton, right at the top. He couldn't have gone any higher there.
Power from Dan Baker. As they run out of their 22 with the Ospreys. Booming kick by Sam Davis. Felix Jones is there.
Let him go.
Well, Felix Jones could have hurt himself there. He's taken a bang. He lined him up. The timing wasn't quite there. Leonard. Taken on by Ollie Cracknell. Now this is a good bit of ball. They have men on the outside. Davis, though, again, tries to get the Ospreys down deep into the opposition territory. Could be a great kick here from Sam Davis. Hasn't quite made it over the touchline. Robin Copeland, he'll have to watch himself. Could be isolated.
Pretty lethargic running that back there in the chase.
And the Ospreys have won it now. If they can recycle here, there's a great opportunity. Leonard runs slightly up a blind alley there. But they have a penalty, and they'll take all the time in the world here. Munster penalised for holding on. Great kick by Sam Davis. There was a chance to shift it right, but in the end, it was the correct decision.
Was a good kick down there, but I didn't think the Ospreys chased it well enough. But then, as it was run back by Copeland, I think, it just seemed a bit of lethargy with how he ran it back, and the defence stood up to it.
And young Sam Underhill there, like a good open side. This is the mistimed hit by Felix Jones, luckily for Dan Evans.
Well, you know he's got a strong jaw, because it was quite a big collision there.
There he is, Sam Underhill, proved his worth today. He was over the ball quickly, and to win a crucial penalty for the Ospreys. Here is Sam Davis, needs to slot this one over. It's high, and no problem at all. And the momentum swings back the Osprey way, but this one at the moment is still up for grabs, as the Ospreys have just a 2-point cushion. Nicky Smith comes off. And Mark Thomas comes in place of him. Great take by Andrew Conway, but back it comes for the Ospreys. I think it went forward from a Munster hand. Well, a catalogue of errors there. And that's the frustration showed by Dan Evans. It's gone forward.
Again, I'd like to see the faces of the Ospreys coaches there, because they've just scored points. It's a tight game. And a little bit of messing about in your own 22, you do not want to give a team like Munster possession and territory in your half, especially after you've just got those points.
CJ Stander coming on for Robin Copeland. Another South African, CJ Stander. And he'll add a bit of power and steel at the base of the Munster scrum.
And the Brendan Leonard lookalike coming on for the Ospreys with Richard Fussell, as Christian Phillips limps off a little bit there.
He is a Brendan Leonard lookalike, isn't he? They could be twins.
There's no arguing over the hairdryer and the changing room between those two, eh?
Richard Fussell, not a name we've heard down at the Liberty Stadium, especially last year. Very few chances to impress in the first team.
Came across from the Dragons, and I think he had player and coaches player for 2 seasons running. He was absolutely phenomenal. In fact, if it wasn't for the likes of Tommy Bowe and Shane Williams playing here, he'd have had a lot more appearances and probably deserved it as well.
Former Wales Sevens player, Richard Fussell. Played for many clubs in the Welsh Premier as well. There he is.
Crouch. Five. Low. Set.
Well, they've gone down. Mark Thomas has just come on.
Scrum
this area has been a bit of a problem,
isn't
it?
Too low, the ball can't
it's
come
been
in.
very to and fro. Just when you think one team's getting the advantage,
head and shoulders above the
then
hips.
the other team comes back with a very good scrum as well. But it was very low, that scrum, so the referee won't allow that to go on for much longer.
Mark Thomas, who had an extended run last year. They had a few problems, few injuries in the front row. Brian Bevington is not available today.
Set.
They pack down once more. Eager not to give anything away here, the Ospreys. Steady scrum this time. Saili bursts down the middle. Good double tackle on him in the end, but he's over the gain line. Williams onto Dave O'Callaghan. Ospreys just asking for more defenders on the far side. Duncan Williams, who stopped in his tracks there. The Ospreys did well, and they've done brilliantly to gain a penalty. Just a moment of hesitation from the scrum half, and the Ospreys were straight on top of him.
Good play by the Ospreys. It started from that scrum there. It was a great scrum. They really held them out. Munster were going for it. They pumped the 13, I think it was, at the middle with good pace, and they managed to nullify that and get back onto the front foot. It's a great penalty to get.
Just had a brief glimpse of a few Osprey legends there. Alan Wynne-Jones, Duncan Jones and Justin Tipuric. Two, of course, will be heavily involved with Wales during the World Cup, and everybody crossing fingers that Alan Wynne is back fully fit after that knock he took out in Dublin. Can ill afford to have many more injuries, Wales, after the double blow last week of losing Lee Halfpenny and Rhys Webb.
Good little run by Scott Otten there. It gives him momentum. Dan, you know, sometimes the offload worked for him last time, but you know, he's such a powerful lad. It'd be nice to just see him truck it up a few times more.
Sam Davis. Well, when you've got a booming left foot like that, they are going to use it, the Ospreys. And it worked to good effect last time because they gained a penalty. At that time, Felix Jones was there to sweep up.
Just didn't find enough grass there. Yeah, just getting the pressure on is the important thing that makes the kick good, the pressure and the chase.
Dan Evans. He's got Leonard on this near side. Fussell. And that's gone forward, and that could be a costly mistake by Andrew Conway in a close game such as this. It's given the Ospreys a big boost here in the opponent's 22.
I think Fussell will be a little bit gutted about how cheaply he gave that ball away, but again, the Ospreys have benefited from a Munster mistake.
Young Rory Thornton comes off. De Kock Steenkamp, who arrived last year, of course, but didn't play at all due to injury, the young South African, who says he wants to try his lot with Wales and stay here on a residency rule.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Rory Thornton. He's really sort of done it the hard way, come through, and he's a lovely lad, and he's got great skills as well. He's had a very solid game today. He hasn't really put a foot wrong. The line-out's been pretty good. And, you know, he'll be pretty happy.
Bonamine product, Rory Thornton.
He came through the Ospreys not through the under-18s, he did it the hard way through the under-17s, which was sort of the second team. And, you know, the two under-18s locks at the time were very much fancied and Welsh locks, and he's forced his way through. And, you know, he was an outside bet for this World Cup squad as well.
He was initially there. He went to Switzerland and Qatar on those training camps where all the hard conditioning work was done. So he certainly would have benefited just from being around the squad long term.
Yeah, he's a very humble lad, and he's got all the ingredients to be, you know, a top-flight sort of regional player and international.
A few youngsters here. Adam Beard is another one. Played for the under-20s last year as well.
Yeah, another cracking player. They were all competing for the same position, so you had a lot of strength in that position.
Set!
Chance for the Ospreys to get another score. Good scrum, good control, and they could gain a penalty, and they've done so. Great work, and the 8 receive the congratulations as the backs come in. They know how important a scrum that was. It could be a scrum that wins them the game. Who knows?
Fair play to Mark Thomas coming on there, and it's, you know, his fresh legs come on, and I can imagine Munster really going for him, and he's just sort of shoved it back at them, shall we say.
Great technique from the Ospreys 8, and there have been changes on both sides, but great work. And everybody appreciative of all the efforts. And it's been a nip and tuck game, that sort of game. This then could be a crucial kick. Sam Davis. From the 22, it's high, and it sails through from Sam Davis. An important 3 points, and it's a kick that could take the Ospreys over the finishing line.
Coming in the last section of the game, and I think it's 14 games unbeaten here for the Ospreys, and I think the last team that beat them was Munster back in 13. So
chwarae'r gêm, wrth gwrs ni eisiau patrwm a siarp ynglyn â beth i wneud gyda'r bêl, ond beth bwysig yn erbyn Munster nawr yw ennill y cae hefyd.
Griff Rhys just...
ni wedi dangos tipyn o ymynydd ynglyn â beth ni'n neud lawr fan hyn, a hefyd cic yn eitha effeithiol, a gael y chas yn positif wrth i ni dod trwy dda'n amddiffynol wedyn hefyd. Trio chwarae'r gêm lawr na, unwaith ma da ni be, ni dal eisiau creu egni a bod yn positif, ond mae hwnna'n signal ti'n egni pan pethau yna hefyd yn digwydd.
Griff Rhys just alluding to the fact that they need now to win the aerial battle. They don't need to chase the game now. They just need to keep their composure.
Crouch! 5! 6!
On his knees, Catchy, on his knees! Stay there, Chopper! Stay there, Chopper!
Williams. Floated out to Stephen Fitzgerald, the try scorer.
Good defence in the midfield, and I thought Munster were very illegal at last ruck and were lucky to get away with that.
Still time for Munster, and we've seen it time and time again in the past. They know how to win games. On the far side goes Rory Scannell. There's no way through. The Ospreys keeping their shape, keeping their discipline. The blitz defence working well at the moment. Keatley went through the break. Another Irish international, Felix Jones. Bit of room here for Andrew Conway. Going through the phases, but not making any real headway at the moment. Thrown in. Chance now. Saili. Just a bit lateral. For Saili, ploughs through the middle. Followed by James Cronin. 11th phase. Hannah Dirksen just asking for assistance on the far side. Williams. Keatley to Saili. He creates something here. Conway and the Ospreys did well. It was a cross field and it came to nothing.
That was well nullified by the Ospreys. They give them the space, made them look like they had the overlap, and then just ushered them at the touch. You know, it was disappointing play from a Munster side that know better than that.
Time off. Check that for you now in a moment. Yeah, to be fair, the way it all happened, right? I wasn't going to do it. I'm always there to be played. Your man kept pushing into it.
Well, the Ospreys players down, receiving treatment.
Good man, Ben. Thank you. Like that tackle call.
Workmanlike performance more than anything, Ian, you'd have to say. But a win's a win, and they need this one after the reverse at Belfast.
Yeah, they'd be aware they've lost the last 2 games in a row, be it sort of Munster last season. But yeah, you're at home. You want to sort of buck that trend. They were very disappointed last week, and they need to get the show on the road. You know, they've got a tough game next week as well, and you just need that first win and build the confidence from it.
Dan Bigger there in the stand. Such an important player for Wales these days, and even more so now. He'll take the kicking responsibilities after the misfortune of Lee Halfpenny's injury.
Yeah, he's a massively high percentage kicker in this league, and you know, he's no other person I'd rather taking the kicks now that Halfpenny is out.
Probably better than Halfpenny percentage-wise, around the 22 or closer. What he can't give you, though, is the distance of Lee Halfpenny.
He's okay.
Yeah, that's that added niche, isn't it? Lee can hit them in from 55 yards, 55 metres. So, but Dan, ultra accurate, and you know, there's no better person to step into it.
Leonard did well to clear the Ospreys' lines.
Another pressure throw from Tom Otten here, but the liner has been good. I hope I don't tempt fate here.
Scott Otten, no frills to the front. Here he is again, Scott Otten. Davis, Munster, very fast, so he had to use the boot of Richard Fussell. Felix Jones. Munster have to chance their arm a bit now. 3 points isn't enough.
22 move.
Underhill, as he's done, he's hurried. He's done well on the floor, Sam Underhill. Duncan Williams. Need to spread this one. Keatley to Rory Scannell. Just running out of space on the far side. The Ospreys, as they've done throughout the game, just very controlled, very effective in their defensive work. Conway, there's no room to manoeuvre. Just need to keep their composure, keep their shape now, the Ospreys. Williams to Keatley, good offload to Duncan Casey. Dave Foley. Just making a bit of headway now. Scannell. Stephen Fitzgerald gives him an option on the scissors. The Ospreys will be desperate to keep their discipline. Otten. They'll be more than happy at the moment because the clock is ticking. But there is an outstretched arm of Dudley Phillips, and in the end, the patience ran out, and the Ospreys have given away a penalty for coming in on the side.
Just young Ollie Cracknell, he's been picked out, and you know, he'd be quite disappointed with that. But you know, there's only one way Munster are going to go, and that's going to be to try and drive them over again or create that space out wide.
The pressure is going to be on the Ospreys now. This will be the final opportunity, and how many times have Munster just stolen it at the death? We shall see. But you can expect the rumble here from the forwards. The last time the Ospreys managed to hold them at bay, to hold them out. It's to the front now, the forwards come round. The Ospreys desperately trying to get it to ground. They've done well, and legally so as well. Well, last time they went down the middle before Blaine Dahl put the cross kick in for Stephen Fitzgerald to score. They're keeping it tight. Options on both sides. Burrowing is James Cronin. The forwards come in. The Ospreys desperately trying to keep them out. They're still driving on, Munster. Now it comes out. Hanno Dirksen waving his hands. They've got men on the far side, Munster.
Use the line.
They're driving on, they're over the try line, and the try has been awarded. And it's a try that could well have pinched the game for Munster. They need the conversion. The Ospreys fans cannot believe it, but the Munster fans delirious. And they've probably done it again.
There's no instant of foul play that needs to be reviewed, is there?
That's
I didn't see any
hammer blow
Do you
for
want
the
to play
Ospreys,
it?
but
No, I haven't
you've
seen
got to
any
give it to
player,
Munster.
but,
Twice that they've
I haven't
kicked
seen
into the
it.
corners for those lineouts.
Okay.
Twice they've come away with anything. You know, they really
Just
have
gonna
been
try and
clinical in
check
that
together,
area.
Okay, thank you.
Well, they tried and tried. And in the end, it's CJ Stander, the South African, who's grabbed the crucial score. There was no stopping him from 2 meters out.
It's time
and
after
the
the
South
conversion.
African
You're time bound, okay?
might well have given Munster victory.
I think the last time the Ospreys have lost here was, I think it was 2013 to Munster. I might have the year wrong there, but it was to Munster on a Sunday as well. So, you know, fate has sort of come back into it.
Ian Keatley then with a conversion for victory, and he's won it for Munster. Desperately disappointing for the Ospreys then. They were looking to hit back after losing out in Belfast, but they've lost for the second successive weekend. Heartbreak for Lloyd Ashley's team as Munster nick it at the death by 20 points to 18. Thanks for joining us on this Red Button coverage for the time being. From Ian and myself, a very good afternoon to you.
We've got super deals on all jacuzzi hot tubs and spas. Find out more in our Carmarthen showroom at powerpools.co.uk or phone 01267 235 625.
We at Just Fab would like to formally apologize to all the brave mail carriers who deliver our shoes. Some of our customers get a little excited about our amazing shoes, personal stylists, and free shipping. From the bottom of our heels, we at Just Fab would like...